Hi, everybody, and welcome to the latest episode of the Endless Celts Podcast. And once again, this show is brought to you by Manscape, the best in the men's below the waist grooming. Manscape offers precision engineered tools for your family jewels and have engineered the ultimate groin and body trimmer by focusing on intelligent functionality and incredible comfort grooming experience. Their fourth generation trimmer, the Lawnmower 4.0, has now launched all over Europe and features wireless charging. Now, before we move on, obviously, I want to touch upon the wireless charging aspect
Oh no.
of this Lawnmower 4.0 because we all, as a part of the Endless Celts podcast, received a lovely wee gift set from Manscaped and we appreciate it. Just it contained the razor they're talking about, the 4.0, a couple of wee gadgets with it, the guards 1 to 4 as well. And it also came, Franny, with this.
The cup.
But we would know as the wireless charging dock. Now you can see
Yes.
the USB port here. You put the
You're unreal.
the Lawnmower
You're unreal, by the
4.0,
way. You're a
the
brave
Lawnmower
man.
the Lawnmower 4.0 in there. But a wee revelation came to us over the weekend. A show regular of ours, the poet.
Don't name. Oh, you
the,
went
po-
there.
the poet that I call him. I won't name his name. People who watch the show know who I'm on about. Or otherwise known as Pink Velvet. Now you have to know this weekend what we're talking about there as well. But he told us he received the cup, Franny, and we all looked at each other a wee bit, and we were like, "What?
We never got a cup.
We never got a cup." About the ring Manscaped customer service, but then we delved into it a wee bit. We're going, "What are you talking about? What are you talking about?" And it came to light that he's been putting his balls inside this and shaving around them.
Oh my
Franny,
god! I was not
Franny.
ready for this again.
Franny, help me out. Help me out here.
I don't
Like-
know how you can. I don't know. I just was not expecting this tonight, Stephen. I thought we'd had enough of it in the pub yesterday.
But that's the revelation that this has been used as a kind of like a silhouette device around the balls to shave them safely.
Maybe we're doing it wrong all the way.
But obviously, disclaimer from us guys: this is a charging dock, so use it as a charger. Okay, that's all I wanted to say on that. And also, it comes with the cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents, and comes with an additional guard size 1 to 4 to fine-tune your trim. And thanks to our advanced skin-safe technology, you can now feel confident shaving your balls. So join over 4 million worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you. 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code CELTS and manscaped.com. And as always, the link will be in the description below. And up above us there, you can see what you have to do. Just go to the checkout and put in CELTS. But charging dock. Anyway, Franny, we will move on and we'll get the show rolling. I'm joined by my show regular, the daily duo partner, Francis. How are you?
Yeah, all good, Stephen. Just finally getting over Saturday and Sunday's adventure, shall we say. It was a good few days. It's a good few days.
Brilliant few days, fantastic few days. And we also have to, there's a couple of wee shout outs we're going to do. We have to give the first one to the Celtic State of Mind guys. Fantastic charity weekend that I had. Over 24 hours of content, Francis, and they've raised, I think, just over £21,000 on last count. Yeah, and they're also doing an auction, so keep an eye out for that. There's some fantastic Celtic memorabilia going, so get your eyes on it. But we kicked off that charity weekend ender, Francis, and I have to say it was a privilege for us to do it, and you were in it. How was it?
Oh no, it was, well, first of all, just got to say thanks to all the folk at Celtic State of Mind just for reaching out to us. Well, I say we kind of we said to them as to get involved and stuff. I thought it was a great thing to actually try and get involved in and to help them out and try and just raise some money for them. And what they've done is absolutely fantastic. Like you say, just north of 21,000 as it stands over a weekend is absolutely fantastic. And yeah, I believe the pages, the GoFund page is open for the rest of this weekend. Like you said, they've got an auction, but yeah, just doing the show and stuff, just getting to reminisce about a really successful time. And for us, anyways, Celtic fans of our generation, just kind of changing the landscape a bit, sort of moulded the Celtic of the 21st century, really, because it was, for me growing up, I grew up in the nine in a row era for Rangers and stuff like that. So it was Martin O'Neill coming, obviously had the wee bit of success under Tommy Burns and Wim Jansen and stuff, but then it was just, then Martin O'Neill came and just changed the landscape. So it was good to kind of go over that season, Stephen, and some of the players that we had back then. And just thanks again to the Celtic State of Mind for letting us get involved in that.
Yeah, and by all counts, it was a show that went down really well with their audience.
Yeah, I heard.
And yeah, so we're grateful for all the feedback
Yeah,
we've received, and it's also available to watch on our channel, and we'll make it available on our channel soon as a part of our rewind series that we're trying to get up and running again. So that's something to look forward to. And again, big thank you to you guys at Sally City Mind, and also Paul John Dykes for inviting us to take part. Really
yeah,
appreciate it. And also another shout out, Franny, to the women's Celtic Women's Football Club
yeah.
who won the League Cup. Hopefully, the first of many pieces of silverware coming to the Celtic Park this season. Fran Alonso seems to be doing a fantastic job there, doesn't he?
Oh, he just looks suave, doesn't he? He always seems to look suave when you see him. But yeah, it's a great achievement for the women's team. Like Glasgow City are arguably, well, probably are the biggest women's football
Aye,
team in
probably.
Scotland anyway. So to actually beat them in a cup finals, it's an absolute great achievement for Celtic, and hopefully it kicks the ladies team on, and they can go and pick up some more silverware. And like you say, hopefully it's the start of many silverware for Celtic as a club this season.
Yeah, 100%. And once again, congratulations. But we'll move on to the main side of things, the football, and a trip to Tannadice on Sunday. Franny, a game we all got to see. A fantastic game by all accounts. Rodriguez with a wonder goal, Turnbull again with a fantastic goal. And Liam Scales, I was listening back to the last podcast, and I was giving Liam Scales won't see an opportunity, won't get a chance. And look what happens yet again. He comes in on his SPFL debut and scores a goal. But before we actually, as we always do, we'll do a wee brief summary of the game. For me, I thought the first half we were absolutely fantastic. I thought some of the play. I mean, we were a bit Jada missing out. Johnston came in, albeit he wasn't amazing, but he did his job well.
Yeah.
Forrest, I thought, was really effective on the right-hand side. Kyogo, and what I loved as well, McGregor playing deep. He was trying the balls to Kyogo really early, but Postecoglou was basically crying out for.
Yeah.
His movement was getting missed out an awful lot in the previous games, but he was getting picked out time and time again, and it was just really effective football, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, just like you said there, Stephen. It was for me. I do. It sounds strange saying it when we've had a couple of 6-0 wins and stuff, but I think as a complete performance, it's probably our best this season. Because, like you say, they were trying to play that ball to Kyogo earlier, so they were trying to pick out his runs, but it wasn't forcing it to him, if you like. It was they were. You could see they were obviously looking for the runs earlier, but it wasn't. Oh, we'll just look up and try and hit Kyogo. It was there was a bit of thought behind it, and then it was just like you say, the first half was brilliant. Second half, I thought they were good. It was just, I mean, if it was 6 or 7, you wouldn't have complained. Well,
Nah.
Dundee United couldn't have complained because it was just Seagrass had an absolute great game. I would be interested to see what he got out of 10 because not many keepers will lose 3 goals at home and probably end up winning 8 or a 9 out of 10. But he actually was really good. And yeah, I just thought everybody was a 7+. Even like say guys like Mikey Johnson didn't play well, but he never ever had for the ball, which I liked. Yeah, didn't seem to create a lot and things, but I'd be more concerned if he was hiding from the ball when he was knowing things weren't coming off. So it was probably good that I'm just trying to think and like Taylor coming back, I thought his 60 odd minutes he was really good at. I don't like Ralston's been brilliant, but the back four looked really, really balanced. But then Ralston probably wouldn't have looked well. It definitely wouldn't have looked out of place if he was playing it right. But I think as much as me and yourself maybe aren't Taylor's biggest fan, I think we can get by with him. I would like to believe we would be looking for better, but I think just having a natural left-footed player out in the left back position really benefited us as well. It looked he actually looked like he hadn't been out for a long period of time. So yeah, it was a really good performance considering we had, like I say, Ralston out, Welsh out, Jota, 3 guys that would maybe not Welsh simply because Starfelt's back now, but definitely Ralston and Jota first team regulars. So and two key ones at that. So it was a really pleasing and complete performance from me, Stephen, considering the circumstances where we thought it was going to be a tricky tie.
Yeah. But what Ralston's kind of injury suspension, don't know what's going on with that injury, it did for us. Greg Taylor came back out of the cold. No one knew he was fit. Postecoglou didn't mention him for a long, long time until he was dropped into the team there. But what it did give us a chance to see was probably the first choice back four. So you're talking Juranovic at right back in his preferred position. Starfelt, Carter Vickers are building up a strong partnership. And I think you're right, Greg Taylor. For me, I mean, he's not. We all know he's not the best. He's not the best left back there is available that Celtic could probably attract, but we can't get by with him. But just touching upon the back four, it was the first time, and probably since all the injuries kicked in and people had to drop out, come in here and there, that we've seen them all together. And for me, I thought they played very well.
Oh yeah, I thought they all looked like they'd been playing together all season. Obviously, Juranovic, Starfelt, and Carter Vickers have played many games together, but it was the first time Starfelt, I believe, was played on the left as Taylor on the left of him. I think every game Starfelt's played, it's mainly been Juranovic and stuff. So they seem to have a wee understanding and things. Obviously, Starfelt, I know he's just back from an injury, but before that, his performances, Carter Vickers, he was coming on a game. His last few games, he has been really impressive as well. So he'd have had a wee bit of confidence and stuff going into it. And yeah, just as a back four, they looked really, really. I was really impressed with them as a back four. It was maybe an easier game than maybe expected. I thought we controlled the majority of the game and never gave them much chance, but that's a combination of the defence and probably just how good our midfield three played.
Yeah, I totally agree. And obviously, the goals, we'll have to talk about these goals here, Franny. The first one, Tom, beautiful feet, Rozic. What an absolute animal. The way he took that ball and the touch took it out from him, just took the momentum, past 3 or 4 players, bottom left corner. Easy as that.
Easy as that, aye. Easy as that. I mean, what Wally said in the pub, wouldn't it be lost in dancing on ice, and he's probably right about that. But like if you were trying to be nitpicking, was it the best defending for Dundee United? Probably not. I mean, his first touch when Rogic takes the ball, it absolutely just does that, boy. But it does it like I'm struggling. There's definitely not in Scotland, but there's not many in the UK that take the ball on the half turn as well as Tom Rogic. So that when he first takes that touch away, it's just typical Tom Rogic, and it's a bit like how I'm with Callum McGregor. You just kind of expect that, and I feel myself, I don't give him enough credit for things like that because it's just what I'm used to from. But then obviously does the wee jinking running between the two defenders. I feel if you want to be critical of Dundee United, they probably could have done more. And then I think it might have been Fuchs, I'm not sure, but showed him inside. You know what Tom Rogic is what to do. He wants to come inside and play that shot, and they let him come in. I mean, you see Charlie Mulgrew try to get out. He knows what's going to happen, but it just gets out too late. But yeah, taking nothing away for the goal. It's. I know we're not quite at the halfway point of the season, but it's definitely a contender for goal of the season. I think you're going to have to go some to actually beat it.
Go some to beat it. You'd be 5 or 6 years to get even close to that goal, Franny. But one thing really as well that we actually spoke about previously was, and not many people notice this or even say it, he has a bit of a turn of pace, doesn't he? He's probably
faster on the ball than he is off the ball, which is the weirdest thing ever.
When he was running with that ball, I was like, he's actually quite quick. you don't really notice it as much as you say off the ball running. Tom Rozic is as good as 10 men, let's be honest. But when he has the ball at his feet, he's delightful. And he's made such a big difference as he's come back and unlocking defences, and Turnbull's playing off him again. Obviously, when Beaton came in, he did a fantastic job. But that midfield three with McGregor, Turnbull, and Rozic is just playing well. It's fantastic, isn't it?
Well, yeah, it's like, I don't know. I know me personally, but I don't. It's possibly you because we seem to be agreeing a lot recently, and we're quite wrong all the time. But I think we both agreed that McGregor's better than the number 8, but I think he's kind of proving us wrong in that one. I think he actually looks a lot better than 6 lately. And,
come on, that's not hard, Franny.
And I think Turnbull's obviously shining in the sort of 8 position, and it allows us to get Rogic in the team. Yeah, in the face, it maybe doesn't look like we've got the dig and fight in the middle part, but I think of late McGregor's stepping up to that, and he's got a wee bit of dig and bit of energy in the team, and he's got it in him to get up and down the park. So as a midfield three, I think it's absolutely brilliant now, because you've got every one of them can play a pass. They've got an eye for a pass. Obviously, like McGregor's kind of like the quarterback passing and stuff. He's got a whole range of passing, similar to Rogic and Turnbull, but Rogic seems to be able to just play that wee eye the needle pass, and then Turnbull and Rogic, the three of them can shoot from outside the box. So it's a perfect, nigh on perfect midfield three. as I say, I would have probably asked me 5-6 weeks ago, would have been banging on to have like a McCarthy or Beaton in the number 6, and it's Rogic or Turnbull. It's between, but I think we've got to go with these three. I think.
I mean, Rogic is how I imagine I play football.
Well, do I?
The ball comes over the top on a muddy pitch. I'm coasting the ball. It's definitely not like that, but you know what I mean. I mean, the second goal, Turnbull. I mean, 5 minutes previous, he missed an absolute sitter. Kyogo set him up. He tried to control it at the 6-yard line. You're like, what are you doing? But fast forward, McGregor, as you said, his range of passing comes to the forward again. Ball over the top. Turnbull with a run, dinks it over the keeper, does a 360 pirouette, and then puts it in the net. That's another beautiful goal, isn't it?
Oh yeah. Like McGregor's passing that, like what I think it was William again, and then he actually made a great comment saying Rogic's touch in the lead up to that is totally getting forgot about because McGregor's pass was that good, and so was Turnbull's touch. In fact, because I don't know who played a wee diagonal out towards Rogic, but he plucked it out the air.
Yeah, cushion.
Beautifully. And brought it straight down so nonchalant, like it. So that's what I do, eh? And I just played it inside to McGregor, and then he played that nice pass. And like I said, Turnbull, his awareness to know that the keeper's coming out. You could argue, did they mean the touch to be as good and stuff? But of course he meant it. I'm going to give him it, but what I would say, even if he's obviously meant to try and control it, if it is a miscontrol to take it over the keeper, he's still clearly aware enough to know. Like, he obviously spins round, he knows what's it, because it's not like the ball's bounced at all. He's hit the ball in before, so he knows if he is taking a bad touch, he's aware enough to know, I've taken a bad touch, but I know what's happening with the ball, and he turns around and knocks it in, because he's obviously a Dundee United player coming in. I don't know if he would stop it. I think it would probably still go again, or maybe Kyle got knocked down, but bad touch or not bad touch, bad touch or not a bad touch, it's either an amazing goal or an absolutely fantastic goal at the end of the day.
Amazing goal or an absolute fluke. That's one of the two options. But
I wouldn't say it was a fluke, because it was, as I say, he gets a great touch and he's either getting wiped out if he gets a great touch, he's just taking it in and knocking it in, or he gets, if you want to argue it was a bad touch, he does what he done, but he's still got the awareness to know, to read the situation and know what's happening. So it's an amazing goal, whatever way you want it, if you want to claim it a good touch or a bad touch.
It was the spin for me, the 360.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. He just knew.
And it's like, if that was me or you in that situation, we'd just fall flat on our faces. But he turns to the keeper, does, you know what I mean? A wee bit like Rogic, and does bang, puts it in. Fantastic goal.
Yeah.
And like, even in the first half, I mean, Juranovic at right back. Yes, he was a wee bit sloppy at times, but obviously he's not played there much. He's been over at left back for us. But even him coming in field, I thought, made the pitch bigger, because Forrest took advantage of the wide spaces.
Yeah.
Yes, we did moan and groan sometimes because he cut inside, but I think that's a part of Forrest games now we're going to have to get used to, because he's losing that wee yard of pace that he used to have, so he needs to find other ways to affect the game. But Juranovic at that right back spot, Franny, how did you feel he did get on, and do you think that's his now, even if Ralston comes back from his injury?
I think a lot will depend on the form of Taylor and obviously the form of Juranovic. I know we've been saying that obviously we want, but we feel Juranovic would be the better option out there. But you can't discredit what Ralston has done this campaign. He's been absolutely fantastic. But I think he's seen on Saturday, then obviously midweek when Juranovic had to go over there after the injury, that he is more suited. He's more comfortable on the ball, Juranovic. That's obvious, and I think that suits the system better. The fact that he can come inside and it just, like, he's so comfortable on the ball, so calm, and it does suit the sort of inverted fullbacks, because when he comes into middle park, he's obviously comfy and taking the ball. So, do I think it's going to be hard for Ralston to come back in? Possibly, but that's maybe a good thing in the sense that it means Taylor's obviously stepping up to mark, and Juranovic is still playing good. So it's one of the ones where if Juranovic does stay in the team, I believe it'll be more on merit or Ralston not getting into, it'll be more on the performance of the others, because it'd have been easy when we got Juranovic in and to play Ball and Montgomery at left back, even though Taylor was injured, just to get Juranovic right back. But we've seen that Postecoglou was willing to, he didn't drop Ralston, even though he wasn't necessarily the first choice right back. But so it's a shame for Ralston, because I don't want him to lose his position due to an injury. But it's football; it's just the luck sometimes. But I hope, well, one, I hope he's not out for long, and two, I hope he doesn't loss out cause an injury. It would be a shame for him to loss out cause an injury.
But what it does do, if that is the case, it adds another option, like
Yeah,
a fantastic
exactly, yeah.
option,
Yeah.
the right back. So the squad depth gets increased there, and then obviously if Greg Taylor stays fit and plays well, then you've got Montgomery backing him up until we probably will sign another left back at some point. Obviously, we'll get on to some transfer rumours that have been flying around recently. But get into the second half. I mean, Forrest come off in half time. Wee bit of heart and mouth situation. Let's hope he isn't out for a long time, because Postecoglou did say he felt it tighten his hamstring. And these hamstring injuries, Franny, they seem to be a symptom of how we're playing at the minute. It's part and parcel. It's a bit like you just don't know who's going to make it through games. That's the way it is. But Abada comes on. He slots into the right hand side. He was vital in the lead up to the third goal. It was another beautiful crossfield pass.
Yeah.
First time pass from Abada across the box, and Liam Scales, the Irishman, who I said probably wouldn't get a look in, comes towards the edge of the box, slots them with his left foot on the first touch, and again tops off a wonderful performance, didn't it?
Yeah, absolutely did. And then it's another option for the left back position, as we've just found out
Yeah.
at the weekend. Yeah. So yeah, he looked. It's obviously a great moment for him getting his debut. Then obviously to cap it with a goal and stuff, and like he obviously came on with like the best part of half an hour, just under half an hour to play and stuff. So he had plenty of time to get into the game, but at that time, it would have been easy. We were running 2-0, kind of cruising. Obviously, we Dundee United goal in the last sort of 5-10 minutes could make it tricky, but we never looked like conceding. So it would have been easy for Liam Scales just to keep in his position, maybe stand in the halfway line when we're attacking, just get in his defensive position. I feel like not want to maybe get involved in the attacking play, because there was essentially no need for it, and we weren't necessarily chasing a goal. So it'd have been easy for him to just stay in his defensive sort of position and manage the game and see himself through it. But he gambled and he got his rewards, which is good to see. It showed bravery and stuff, and obviously it would have had confidence regardless after the game, like be buzzing obviously because he's made his debut, and it wasn't just a wee cameo like 5-10 minutes. He actually got a good 25, nearly 30 minutes. So it was brave for him. It was good and stuff just to see him gambling and going ahead and try to get involved in the game. And yeah, it was a slight defection, but it deserved it because he didn't last at the shot. He tried it. It was a nice controlled finish.
Cushioned.
It was easy just to see your name in lights there and absolutely try and get the laces through it and either go right out the stadium or just slice a shot wide. But a nice wee controlled finish. Yes, slight deflection, which maybe aided them in taking it away for Seagrass, but you make your luck when you do these things coming for the left back, let's say gambling.
And what it did show as well, the Postecoglou method coming into play there, because he scored from the inverted fullback position. And I watched the replay again today. Johnson was hanging out left, keeping the pitch wide. Scales was coming in that position in between the centre half and their left back or right back. So what it does show, the players are listening to their methods and they're getting used to it now.
They're getting used to it, yeah.
And even the fringe players that Scales would have been, he's come in and totally took it by the scruff of the neck and scored a wonderful goal. Yeah. That's a good thing, isn't it?
Oh no, 100%. It's you want, like we discussed in the pub, you want your sort of a second choice, I feel like, for every position to be. They've never got to, in an ideal world, you want them to be equally as good as the one that they're replacing, but it's never got to happen. But you don't want a major drop in. Sunday for me, it wasn't a major drop. It wasn't a major drop in some of the sort of fringe players. Whether they can carry that over a period of time will tell. I think there's got to be opportunities there for them. So fingers crossed. Everything's rosy on the pitch anyway. We'll not obviously be talking about the board, and there's no point getting involved in that. Carry on the day. Let's keep it positive. Everything's going well on the pitch and stuff. So it's.
I agree.
The folk in the boardroom know that they're not in the room, but let's just stay in the positive. It's a good moment, a good period, and it's been a good long period.
Yeah.
We're in there now. It's really good
I, to-
performances.
I totally agree. I think Postecoglou's doing a wonderful job in kind of separating the people on the
Yeah,
pitch from what's going on at the top. And
and
you
letting it
seen
not
that,
affect the team.
yeah, you seen that with his celebrations again at
Yeah,
Tannadice. He's loving it. He's absolutely loving it, and the players are too. And it's probably now Celtic obviously retweeted the you love a wee retweet, Ronnie, but Celtic obviously retweeted the Ronnie Daly winning or getting into the MLS Cup or winning the MLS Cup with it. He won it, didn't he? And
what's that?
he showed his passion. Ronnie Daly had a bit of that from him when he was at Celtic. I know he wasn't everyone's cup of tea, but he did connect the players and the supporters
Yeah,
at certain times, the Ronnie Roar. And I get a wee bit of that feel from Postecoglou, but on a much higher level, let's be honest. But it's just amazing to see. We'll move on, and obviously we did touch upon squad depth and the transfer rumour mill, as always, coming up to January is flying, and especially because Postecoglou has links to the J League, the Japanese league. Even earlier they're coming now, so we're at the start of December and we've been linked to 3 players, and apparently this is nailed on, confirmed that at least 2 of these players are definitely coming to Celtic Park. And I'll just throw the first one to you. Rio Hatate, I'm probably absolutely butchering that name,
I think
but
that's how close I would go with as well.
yeah, but he predominantly played left back this season for his club. Not going to pronounce the club's name because I'll mess that up too. But in the J League, he made it into the Japanese team League of the Year. So a player with good pedigree. Many think he's coming in as a centre mid because he's versatile. He can play that defensive midfield role and left back. I think he'd become the left back, my personal opinion. But in regards to this player, do you think from the things you've seen, I've watched a wee bit of him on YouTube, obviously, he would be a good fit?
I think so. Like the YouTube clips I've seen of him, he seems to play in midfield a lot, but everybody seems to say he's a left back. But I don't know. I've not got to sit here and pretend I know the J League and know much about it. So
there's no point.
I don't know. Is it maybe just I don't know if it's right saying the standard because you look at Kyogo and the boy's frightening. So it's I think it's if Postecoglou believes in him, I'm going to trust him because he's obviously sprung in Kyogo. Kyogo's been absolutely a breath of fresh air, been brilliant. So maybe the board just went to him and saying, "Is there a few more of them?" And he's went, "Well, these are some guys that I know about." So I think you've got to trust him. Obviously, I don't want to sound pretentious and ignorant and going, what is the standard like over there? But
I think it's safe to say it's probably.
I know, but I feel a wee bit of me is still a wee bit. I don't
skeptical.
know, but a wee bit skeptical. But going by the YouTube clips, I don't know much about the midfielder boy, but out the three, I really like the look of this Hatate boy. He looks a proper player. He does look a player, and I really like the look of him.
Well, what it does show, if he can cover left back and defensive midfield, it does show, Franny, that Postecoglou's looking at squad depth as well there to cover them positions.
Yeah, no, 100% agree with that. 100% agree with that. That's what you want at the end of the day. We'll need it.
Yeah, and obviously the lesser known one that does come into the kind of the 4 in the last 48 hours is Yusuke Adegichi. Probably totally again butchering that name, but I mean another midfield player, and then Dazian Medida.
I think it's Maeda. Only because I've heard a few folks saying it, so I'm going for Maeda.
Maeda, and he looks frightening. I have to admit, I've watched loads of stuff on him, and the nickname him over there that's kind of Japanese Mbappe. And if him and Kyogo can form a partnership, the SPFL, if he comes, is in for a torrid time, aren't it?
Yeah, well, I believe the boy Maeda finished top goal scorer in the league, so well, no, Kyogo. He was, I think he'd finished the season. Well, before he left, he was on about 16, maybe. So
he was top goal scorer when he left.
So, and then we obviously see, I think he's on 14 in all competitions here already. So, if this is the top goal scorer of the league we're getting, then you've got to believe he's a better player as well, and he's got an eye for goal. But yeah, some of the YouTube clips I've seen of him is the defenders are either running through treacle or this guy is absolutely Usain Bolt because he's absolutely rapid. If he looks a lot faster than what Kyogo is, and Kyogo's fast.
He does,
honestly, and that's ridiculously quick. I've not seen because obviously we only heard about the well, obviously we knew about Hatate and Maeda. Their rumours have been about for a wee while, so you have had a chance to look at the YouTube clips. But the midfielder boy obviously only kind of came out yesterday, and I've not really had a chance to actually try and see any YouTube clips of him. But as I've said before, it's hard to go on the YouTube clips because they're always going to be good, aren't they? But definitely Hatate out the free is one I'm really sort of keen on. Like, I like the look of, but obviously I'm still a bit sceptical of the league. But I think a lot of that's down to ignorance for myself. And I don't know why when you look at Kyogo, I don't know why when you're looking at Kyogo at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, the centre midfield boy could have been vital towards squad depth. The Celtic, I mean, we could have been without David Turnbull for a long period of time yesterday with that absolutely shocking, disgusting challenge by Callum Butcher of Dundee United, and he nearly butchered, excuse the pun, David Turnbull's leg, and it was disgusting. How that wasn't a red card on the spot, I will never know. And I've seen Sky Sports did a wee thing on it today. They brought their referee and expert in.
Right.
Obviously, he's from down in England, and he was lost for words. Basically, he was like, it's a red all day. The studio guests who were in at the time said it's a disgusting challenge. They didn't even want to see it no more. It was that bad. How can that go unpunished?
I don't know. And then, because he's been yellow carded, I'm not too sure if he can get retrospective punishment.
I seen something like that, yeah.
Can you? So I don't actually know if, because he's been yellow carded and the referee's seen it, whether there's something in the rules. I don't know if, depending on what the referee claims he's seen, whether he just says, "Oh, I thought it was a bad challenge or a late challenge. I didn't think it was a high challenge." Maybe if there's a sort of a discrepancy in the interpretation, you could then look at it retrospectively. But I believe, because he's been yellow carded, there's no way you can look at it. I can't. I love what sports scene. Obviously, we watched the game in the pub, so obviously when you score your whenever, and the replays don't really focus on the referee's position, so I don't know what sort of angle he had on it.
The linesman was there.
Well, for me, I think, see, when you see the fourth official, what is he doing?
The fourth official. Yeah, exactly.
The fourth officials are yards away from it. So between the three of them, surely they should get the decision right, because it's on the linesman's side. Then the fourth official's there. I say the referee, I'm not too sure what he's seen. But he's clearly not seen the challenge as bad as it is. If he has, it's absolutely an embarrassment. If he's seen that challenge as it is and deemed that a yellow card, it's frightening, absolutely frightening. But well, like, can you remember? Have you seen any replays? Have you seen the Dundee United coach or something on the bench?
The coach.
What's he complaining for? What's he actually complaining for? I don't know what he's all about, but honestly, how that is not a red card is, I mean, even Chris Bhoys said it was a red card. That's all you need to know, eh?
To be fair to me, he actually did say that, but we all know we're using Chris Bhoys. But I think as well, like, is it a case? Obviously, there is some decisions you look at and you're like, nah, fair enough, they can get that wrong. But for me yesterday, Franny, that was a leg breaker, and that could have Turnbull's been out. He's missed a year of his career already for a horror injury that kind of scuppered his move to Celtic in the first place. But thankfully, he got back to that level again. And then you look at that tackle, and you said the fourth official, the linesman could see that, and the Dundee United bench. They should be ashamed of themselves. That coach should be hanging his head in shame for. I don't even know what he was claiming. I just don't know what he was claiming. But is it a case of, like, we've covered referees quite a lot the past couple of weeks in this podcast, and it's only because of stupid, horrendous decisions like this. But is it a case of they're just ignorantly stupid or inconsistent or just not fit for purpose to referee top-level football matches?
I think it's a combination all, and I think just to sort of start on this, at least when we've been moaning about the referees lately, it's on the back of wins, so nobody can chuck the paranoia and all this. We've never really picked up on a referee when we've been dropping points. It's always when we've been. I think, on memory, the only time we've picked up on a referee is the first game of the season, which we lost when you talk about the Andy Halliday challenge. I think that's the only time we've called out a referee on the back of defeat. Every other time we've called out the referees, we've won. We've won the game. So nobody can really be chucking the whole paranoia conspiracy carry on at you. You're calling out bad decisions on the back of a win.
Yeah,
but yeah, I think it's a combination of, like you say, an inept referee and just consistency. The consistency is clearly not there. But I think as well the punishment for bad decisions for the referees plays a part, because I'm not want to say their heart's not in it, but if they know on a back of a bad decision, they'll referee another SPFL game the following weekend, then I'm not saying they'll deliberately make a bad decision, but where is the sort of what am I trying to say? Like, what are you trying to do to better yourself or keep yourself at a consistent level if you're not going up or down the ladder, so to speak? Like in everyday work of life, most jobs, if you do well, you work your way up the ladder. That's usually natural progression. If you do bad, you'll maybe not necessarily go down that, but you'll stay still, or you'll just stay. You'll plateau. You might go, depending on the type of job, you might go backwards in it. But if you, regardless of performance, you might miss one weekend game, but you've got your day job Monday to Friday, which a lot of these referees work. So you're just missing that wee bonus at the weekend. But yeah, I just think there needs to be punishment for these refs, like go down the leagues, and then that obviously affects their pay on that. That might help them then look at their performance and go, right, well, if I work, because I believe it's like £1,000 they get per SPFL game. So if you're getting that on the top of your weekly
wage,
job, that's
a good wage.
But if you then know that you can make decisions like yesterday and then still do that next week, you'll be like, where is incentive to try and better yourself? Because you're like, well, I just need to kind of stay at this level, and I'm got to get these games every week. I just think it's. I mean, John would have a different opinion, but I think it's just we've got seriously poor Like I think he would agree we've got seriously poor referees, but I think that is the major thing. We've got seriously poor referees in the game now. I think it needs to be called out, but it needs to be sensible how you call it out, in the sense that I don't want it getting called out like you're going, oh, they're against us. Like, just call out for inept referees. Like John mentioned before, we've got amateurs refereeing a professional game. We've got folk that on paper aren't fit for purpose. Like, you don't get amateur referees refereeing a boxing match. I'm obviously not sure about rugby and things like that, but get professionals. It's a professional game, so get professional referees in. I appreciate it's got to cost money to do that, because what referees got to give up, maybe, even if they work 3 days a week and they're only getting a couple £100, but if they're getting £1,000 on top of that at the end of the week, if you're getting £1,200 a week, and that, why you want to give that up if that's not what you've got to get to go professional? So it's one of them. I think we need to get professional, but it's the money it will cost to get that.
I think as well, if you base it around football terms, it's quite simple. If a player performs badly in consecutive games, they get dropped. Yeah. If a manager performs badly in consecutive games, and more or less they get the sack. If referees in Scotland perform badly in consecutive games, they get rewarded by getting the ground the next week, refereeing at the top level again. It's not fit for purpose. And what annoys me as well, managers have been kind of warned off from speaking out against refs. They get punishments, they get bans, all that kind of thing. Do you not think it's about time that, I'm not just saying Celtic, but any other clubs that are affected, their actual board who sit high up in Celtic or other clubs should just come out and publicly say, what is the actual deal here?
No, I totally think they do. I think, like I just said, I think they need to, folk in high, like in board level across every SPFL club, need to be coming out and saying they're not happy with the standard of the refereeing. Someday, like David Tumble's foot, if that was planted a wee bit more, that's potentially a leg breaker.
Here's something for you. Right. Picture this. He got that decision wrong, yellow card, right? But in that precise moment, David Turnbull's leg broke, right? What punishment would that referee serve? Nothing.
None. But David Tumble's... I mean, at the end of the day, even if he sends him off, we're still losing David Tumble for a period. But at least he's getting the decision right then. I get what you're saying. He's still getting the decision right, but you don't... That's what you're trying to avoid I think, looking at the bigger picture, that's what you're trying to avoid, because a poor decision, poor referees will cost guys are seasoned, guys long-term injury, potentially cost them a career. But I just think you need to get united in it and say, like, call out bad decisions.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think every person who watched that game, even the neutral yesterday, would have said it was a red card.
It's unreal. It's unreal how
Listen,
they can actually look at that and think a yellow. So it's
and I think your man,
what has the referee seen?
I know exactly. I think your man Callum Butcher only came back from
Suspected.
suspension.
Aye.
Aye, and what I liked as well. I remember on the screen, Colin McGregor was pointing at the referee, and I think he said, "That's a definite red, ref. That's a definite," and he kind of shooshed him away. It's like you're not even listening to the club captain. What can you do?
See,
It's
well, I've not got too much an issue in it because I don't want the referee getting influenced by other players. Like Callum
aye,
McGregor's obviously not that type of player that's going to be asking for needless cards. I think he knew it was a bad one. He knew it was a bad one. I think that's kind of I don't know if it's unnatural for Callum McGregor, but I've never noticed it before. So that's another reason you notice a bad challenge as well. I don't think Butchers intensely went out to do that type of challenge. It's a red. I mean, it's everything a red card is, and the fact that it's over the top, it's reckless, it's out of control. So it defines everything about an excessive force as well. So it's in the rule, but it defines every rule and for a red card. I don't believe he went in to do that challenge. As I say, it was a reckless challenge, but I don't think it was premeditated. It was just an absolute terrible tackle. But when you see guys like Callum McGregor, referees need to know the players. You see him coming out saying that's a red card.
that's what I meant.
Then. But for me, like if the referee's shushing him as well, I'm okay with that as long as the referee's like, let me ref the game, let me do it. But to then just be like, that's a yellow. It's like Callum McGregor's not that type of player to be asking for red cards.
No, I think every person knows Conor McGregor. So I mean, he's not that type of player at all. It was a horrendous tackle, and thankfully David Turnbull stayed in the pitch. And yeah, so that was good. But we'll move on, obviously, to the game against Real Betis, as William kept correcting me and saying. I kept going Betis, and he was like, "What are you saying that for? It's Betis, so we'll go with Real Betis." Now, obviously, Franny, it's at home under lights at Celtic Park, 8 o'clock kickoff this Thursday. Bit of a dead rubber, really. I mean, we're qualified for the Conference League. They're sailing through to the last 32 of the Europa League. So, I mean, a lot of people are crying out for a couple of French players to start. I would probably be along the same lines. But again, you don't want to get, I was going to say negative of me here, but you don't want to get smashed. You don't want to.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you don't want to put all these young players out and end up getting turned over 3 or 4-0. I do think we can be competitive against Betis. That's no issue to me. But it's about mixing and matching, not totally changing the team, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, in an ideal world, you'd either be through or have something to play for in this game, essentially. But I would love to play your strongest 11. I think there's a chance Postecoglou will do it because he's on record as saying he wants to test himself, he wants to test his players, he wants to see what level they're at and get to it. So if he plays his strongest possible 11, would there be surprised? No, I don't. I think there will. I don't think there'll be wholesome changes simply to the fact that I don't really know how many of the French players are actually registered for the Europa League group. But I think I'm with you. I think it'll be a wee bit of a sort of a mix and match. Like I think Taylor will obviously start and things like that just because he's come back for fitness. He might find something like Kyogo will not start, and I think McGregor will start. So I think maybe 3 or 4, Stephen. I don't think it'll be drastic. For me, probably would want, if possible, 11 changes. Just accept the result. Yes, it's not great to look at. It's not ideal for the fans that have obviously bought the package and stuff and maybe getting turned over. Coefficient points, it probably isn't great for that.
Yeah, that's a great point.
But I think we've got bigger fish to fry in the sense come Sunday in the league.
Yeah.
We've got big. Obviously, if there was something to play for in this game aside from coefficient points, I'd be asking for the strongest 11 and just saying, right, well, this is. But I suppose the argument still stands regardless of having something to play for it as Celtic Football Club. This has been what putting part of such a big club is you play European football, then at the weekend you've got your league stuff. So I would love to play. I would love to start the strongest team out, but if I was Postecoglou, I'd probably change the full 11, Stephen.
Yeah, I mean, get into the game. I think Betis or Betis they're unbeaten in 5. Their last game was against Barcelona, 1-1-0. Albeit obviously Barcelona aren't the force they used to be. They're experiencing some financial difficulties, but still a fantastic world-renowned team. We can't ever deny that. Do you know what I mean? I agree with what you're saying. I'll go with my lineup and score prediction first. I never go first, so I'll do it because I'll go now. This may sound messed up after what I said about mixing and matching, but Scott being the starting nets, right? Bear with me. Juranovic, Carter Vickers, Starfelt. I'll keep them two because they need to build their partnership. I would start Scales because Taylor's only coming back from injury. I would also start. Oh, now this is where right. I would start McCarthy in the deeper position. I would put in Sorrow and Rogic. So you're giving Turnbull a rest, who's playing basically every minute of football there is. You're giving McGregor rest. I would put a batter for the middle, the number 9. I would put.
I mean, this
Montgomery.
Is matching.
Yeah, I mean, it is, isn't it? I would put Montgomery to the left and put Forrest on the right to keep his recovery going in terms of minutes. What do you think of that lineup?
Fucking horrendous, mate.
What? Really? I thought that was quite good.
I mean, personally, I would go with it in the sense that majority of your big players are not playing, so there's less.
But you still got a wee bit of.
But it's come on, Stephen. You're at it, son. Aren't you? You're at it with that.
Who would you start?
Well, I'll tell you because you've asked me. I think
I'm asking you now.
I think the back five essentially will be the back five that played against Dundee United. I think it'll be Hart, Juranovic, Carter Vickers, Starfelt, and Taylor. I think because Taylor's coming back, he'll play again. It's at Celtic Park. It's a bigger park, so I don't whether he plays the full game's a different story. But I think that back five will stay the same. I would drop McGregor, but I believe he'll be in. But so I'll go with the team I would like to play. So I would probably I'd put McCarthy in there to give him minutes. But I'm with you. I want Turnbull rested, but we've not really got anybody. You would have to then put McGregor in there. Nah, I don't. Well, maybe I'd maybe put Beaton and McCarthy in there. I know they're two, but maybe McCarthy can just play that one in front. And so,
good shout.
And an ideal set. If I was picking the team, I think my midfield would be Beaton, McCarthy, and Rogic, and then my front three, Mikey Johnson, just to try and get him a bit in his game time, try and get him the confidence. I'd play Ayeti and I'd also play Abada just to try. I know Forrest is coming back, but I think just to try and get Abada a wee bit of confidence as well back. That would be my team. But I think both our teams are going to be nowhere near. Yours is definitely nowhere near the first 11.
My team would smash your team, 100%.
Aye, right.
All day. Pace in the middle or a batter for the middle.
You've got Scott Bain in goals. You've got Scott Bain in goals.
Scott Bain played out with a feet now. Brilliant keeper. I mean, score predictions are quite famous now in this podcast. We absolutely mess it up week in, week out. I think who was closest at the Tannies game? Might have been Ross or something.
Ross said 3-1, I think he said
3-1. He did, to be fair. What about you for this game?
It's a hard one, Stephen, because obviously, we're obviously doing this on Monday. It'll go out on Tuesday, but when you're at
a score prediction can't be affected by a day.
Aye, but we've absolutely no idea what the team's got to be. But if it was my team that I've just picked that went out, I think maybe a one each. I think I scored draw.
Is that a comfy one each?
Aye, because they'll score in the 8th to 9th minute.
Oh, I'll go. If it's my team that starts the game, I'll go.
We're getting fucking turned there.
10-1 to Celtic. What are you talking about? I'll go 2-1 Celtic. I'll go 2-1 because I think Betis, they might come over. They might rest a few players. Yeah. So I mean they might rest a few key players in their team. So it could be a good game all in all. And obviously the people who are going will make it a fantastic atmosphere, European game on their nights. But that brings us to the end of the show, Francis. And there's no point really doing a quiz, is there? Because it's just you.
I know.
Do you know what I mean? So my deadly duo partner, I can't put you under that pressure asking you questions by yourself. So I mean that'd be a bit of a fail on our part. But have you enjoyed this one?
I love slush.
Why did you have to say that? Who told you to say that?
No, I just after you hung someone out to dry at the start, I thought I need to. It's made me think about this, and I'm waiting till the end. I'm chucking it in.
And obviously, just another one. It's a wireless charging deck for the Lawnmower 4.0, and as it says, 20% off at the checkout with our code CELTS. Come at the Christmas time, getting closer and closer and closer, Fanny. Get involved, get it done, get something bought for your family, relatives, loved ones, friends, whoever it may be. And until next time, stay well and keep safe. Hail, hail.